think for a moment. How much time did you spend scrolling on your phone today? Seriously.
Mhm.
When I was prepping for this deep dive, the data really struck me.
Oh, yeah.
Nearly half of all smartphone users in the U.S. actually say they can't imagine life without their mobile devices.
Wow. Yeah, it's almost as if they've become an extension of us. It's pretty remarkable how quickly these devices got so deeply integrated into our daily lives.
Exactly. And that rapid integration is precisely why today we're taking a deep dive into something increasingly common: social media detoxification.
Mm.
What exactly is it? Why are so many people feeling the need for it? And, what does the latest research actually reveal about its impact on our mental well-being?
Right. And our mission in this deep dive is, well, to unpack the core characteristics of a social media detox, explore its reported benefits, and really dig into the powerful psychological drivers that keep us so engaged.
She was hooked, yeah.
Ultimately, we want to equip you with practical strategies to maybe foster a healthier relationship with your digital world. We'll be drawing some really compelling insights from a pilot study with university students and also broader expert perspectives on digital well-being.
Okay, so to understand the rise of the detox, we first have to grasp the sheer scale of social media's growth and the challenges it presents, obviously.
It's huge.
The explosion of online connectivity has been nothing short of astonishing. I mean, consider this. Back in 2005, only 5% of the U.S. adults were on social media.
Just 5%.
Fast forward just 14 years to 2019, and that number had skyrocketed to over 70%.
70. That's incredible growth.
And for adolescents, it's even more pervasive. Something like 71% of them are using multiple platforms.
And what's really striking here is that alongside this rapid growth, serious concerns about problematic use have emerged. Research clearly shows a correlation between high social media use and issues like problematic behaviors, diminished self-esteem,
Yeah, self-esteem really takes a hit.
and even depressive symptoms. This isn't just feeling a bit down. It suggests maybe a fundamental shift in how our self-worth is being shaped by all that constant digital comparison.
Now, when we talk about addiction in this context, it gets quite nuanced, doesn't it?
It does.
It's interesting how the medical community is approaching this. While gaming addiction has actually made it into the official ICD-11 classification,
Right.
social media addiction hasn't quite reached that formal classification yet, not in ICD-11 or the DSM-5.
Mm.
But the fact that it's acknowledged as worthy of further exploration tells you how seriously the field is starting to view this.
Absolutely. It really prompts us to think about how we define and address these issues. And it's not just a Western thing either.
No.
Globally, the Middle East, for instance, has the highest prevalence of internet addiction, around 10.9% compared to a 6% global average.
Wow.
And when we look at the specific health issues tied to problematic social media use, the list is, well, it's pretty extensive. Mood disorders, anxiety disorders, substance use issues, sleep disturbances,
Full
feelings of loneliness, social impairment, even poor academic performance, and a really prominent sign of dependence, experiencing withdrawal symptoms when you try to step away, like actual withdrawal.
You bring up an important point there about mental health. And here's where it gets, I think, genuinely thought-provoking.
Mm-hmm.
There's this profound irony of connection.
Mm-hmm.
Social media is designed, in theory, to bring people closer. Yet excessive use can actually make you feel more lonely and isolated.
It's so counterintuitive.
Right. It often exacerbates existing mental health challenges. It's a total paradox. You're seeking connection, but you end up feeling more alone.
And if we connect this to the bigger picture, it really underscores the irreplaceable importance of real-world, face-to-face human connection.
Absolutely.
That kind of interaction is just crucial because it triggers stress-alleviating hormones, something screen time just can't replicate. It's a fundamental human need, Digital interactions just can't fully satisfy it.
Given all this widespread use and its potential pitfalls, it's perhaps no surprise that many are seeking an antidote. But what exactly is this social media detox we keep talking about? Let's maybe clarify our terms first.
Good idea.
Digital detoxification is the broader concept. The Oxford Dictionary defines it as a period of time during which a person refrains from using electronic devices such as smartphones or computers,
Okay.
regarded as an opportunity to reduce stress or focus on social interaction in the physical world. Pretty straightforward.
And social media detoxification is just a specific application of that, focusing exclusively on refraining from social media platforms. Though it's worth noting that in popular culture, the terms are often used pretty interchangeably. People just say digital detox usually.
Yeah, they do. And
Yeah.
it truly has become a growing cultural movement. You see it discussed everywhere. Media outlets like the Huffington Post claiming benefits for mental well-being, productivity, cognitive processes.
Right. There's a whole industry now.
Exactly. It's even spawned a dedicated self-help and rehabilitation industry around digital detox. People are clearly recognizing a need for this kind of reset.
So, to get a clearer picture, let's look at some fascinating insights from that pilot study involving 68 university students. The study aimed to explore their awareness, engagement, and the mental health implications of social media detox.
Okay, what did they find?
The findings are quite telling. 62% of the students had heard of social media detoxification, and a significant 40%, that's 27 students, had voluntarily undergone a detox period.
40%. That's quite high.
It really suggests a strong self-awareness of maybe problematic usage among these students. They're feeling it themselves.
And their approach to detox wasn't uniform, which is important to consider, right?
Exactly. The study found wide variability. About 41% stopped all platforms completely.
Cold turkey.
Yeah. Then 18% reduced frequency or length of time on some. Another 18% stopped some platforms while continuing others. And 23% used social media only for essential communication, like contacting family.
So lots of different strategies. What about duration?
Also varied wildly, from less than 1 day for 24% of students.
Barely a break.
I know. To over 7 days for 22%. It really shows there's no single right way to do it. It depends on the person.
That makes sense.
But what's particularly noteworthy here is the Instagram factor.
Instagram.
The study found that Instagram was identified as the most difficult platform to stop using by a whopping 75% of those who detoxed.
75%.
Yeah. While Facebook was not seen as particularly difficult, which raises an intriguing question. Why do you think that is?
That's a fantastic point.
Yeah.
My immediate thought goes to Instagram's highly curated visual nature. It's almost designed to make us compare, isn't it?
The endless scroll of perfect pictures.
Yeah. Perhaps that fosters a different, maybe more intense kind of hook than Facebook's broader feed, which is often more text-based or about groups.
Yeah.
There's just so much identity tied up in those perfect squares on Insta.
That's a very insightful hypothesis. It does make sense that a platform built around aspirational images and constant comparison might create a stronger pull, feeding right into that fear of missing out, or FOMO.
Yeah, FOMO is huge. But regardless of the specific platform, it sounds like people who did detox were experiencing some real shifts. The student study reported some significant positive outcomes, didn't it?
It did. Most students self-reported positive changes in mood, reduced anxiety, improved sleep,
So feel good?
and better professional productivity during and immediately after their detox. Some even noted improved relationships.
Okay, so people feel better. Why? To understand that, we need to dive into the science, right?
Yeah.
What's happening in our brains during this digital break.
Exactly. A key player here is dopamine, that powerful neurochemical that lights up our brain's reward center.
The feel-good chemical.
Precisely. It drives us to seek out more of what provides pleasure or stimulation. Social media taps directly into this system, creating psychological cravings and, well, addictive tendencies that fuel that continuous scrolling, that little hit every time you see a notification.
And it feeds directly into what's known as the fear of missing out, FOMO.
Huge factor.
Social media constantly exacerbates FOMO, making you feel like others are having more fun, living better lives. It just impacts your self-esteem, triggers anxiety, and fuels that compulsive checking. Sometimes even at the expense of sleep or, safety if you're checking while driving. It's this constant pressure to keep up.
Then there's the comparison trap. It's related, but slightly different.
How so?
The highly curated, often filtered content we see on social media can easily lead to feelings of inadequacy, low self-esteem, and what some call social media envy. This constant, often subconscious comparison just takes a genuine toll on our mental state. We're comparing our real lives to someone else's highlight reel.
That makes perfect sense. And sleep, something so vital to our well-being, takes a hit too, you mentioned.
Definitely. Screen time before bed is notorious for disrupting sleep quality and duration. It's largely due to exposure to that blue light,
Right, the blue light.
which interferes with our body's natural melatonin production, the hormone that tells us it's time to sleep.
So less scrolling, better sleep. Makes sense.
And on the flip side, freedom from constant distractions naturally leads to enhanced focus and productivity. It's quite simple, really. When your attention isn't constantly fragmented by notifications or that urge to check,
Yeah, the little itch.
you can concentrate better and be significantly more efficient. You get more done.
It's not just about productivity, though. It also impacts our fundamental social fabric, doesn't it? I read about an intriguing finding from a small study
Oh, yeah.
that observed people with phones present in a waiting room were actually less likely to smile at strangers.
Really? That's fascinating.
Yeah, it suggests our phones are subtly altering the very fabric of our everyday social interactions, maybe making us less open to real-world connection, even small ones.
Wow. And let's not forget the sheer volume of time reclaimed. One survey found respondents checked their phones an average of 96 times a day.
96, that's
Yeah.
once every 10 minutes if you're awake for 16 hours.
Exactly. A social media detox, even a short one, frees up a surprising amount of time for, joyful activities, hobbies, or simply just being present.
Okay, so after hearing all this, how do you know if you might personally need a break?
Mhm.
There are some clear signs, right? Indicators that social media might be impacting your mental health in ways you haven't fully realized.
Definitely.
Like if you feel anxiety, stress, or depression after checking social media, or if you notice you're experiencing social withdrawal, kind of neglecting real-world friends, those are strong indicators.
Other signs include a compulsive urge to check your phone every few minutes, trouble concentrating or staying focused,
That focus thing is big for me.
experiencing imposter syndrome or insecurity about your own life after scrolling, disrupted sleep patterns, obviously, feeling obligated to respond immediately to messages.
Oh, the pressure.
Right. Or using social media to mask underlying problems like boredom, stress, or loneliness. Or even, kind of worryingly, engaging in risky behavior, like texting while driving, just to gain likes or validation. These are all significant red flags.
So if you recognize yourself in those signs, first off, don't worry, you're absolutely not alone. And there are practical steps you can take for a healthier digital life.
Yes, definitely actionable things.
First, maybe set realistic goals.
Yeah.
Your detox doesn't have to be complete abstinence, right? It could just be limiting screen time. Tailor to your lifestyle, what feels achievable for you.
That's key. And a really effective strategy is creating healthy boundaries. Think about designating tech-free zones in your house, like maybe the bedroom or the dining room.
Good idea. No phones at the table.
Exactly. Make it a rule to cut off screen time maybe 30 minutes to an hour before bed. Avoid checking your phone immediately upon waking. That's a tough one for many.
Very tough.
Put phones away during meals and actual social interactions. Turn off non-essential notifications. That alone can make a huge difference. Track your app usage maybe, see where your time is really going. And for a more direct approach, you could even temporarily delete the social media apps from your phone. Just take them off for a bit.
Okay, so you create that space. Then the key is to occupy yourself with nourishing activities, right? Fill the time.
Absolutely. This is about actively filling the time freed up by detoxing with things that genuinely bring you joy or fulfillment.
Like what? Give us some ideas.
Okay, pick up a new hobby or revisit an old one. Go for a walk or a hike. Get outside. Call a family member you haven't spoken to in a while. Meet a friend for coffee in person.
Radical.
Read a book. Journal your thoughts. Volunteer somewhere. Learn a new recipe. Take an exercise class. Or try meditation or mindfulness practices. Anything that engages you off screen.
And this also ties into prioritizing offline connections, making that a conscious effort.
Critically important. Make an effort to set aside dedicated phone-free time for friends and family. Join clubs or groups that align with your interests, a book club, a sports league, whatever.
Get out there.
Reach out to acquaintances you haven't seen in a while. Even simple interactions with strangers, like we mentioned earlier. Remember, those real-world connections are crucial for stress alleviation and genuine well-being.
Another powerful strategy, you mentioned mindfulness. Practicing gratitude, too.
Yeah, these can be really helpful. You could keep a gratitude journal, just noting things you're thankful for each day. It helps shift focus. Or use a mindfulness app, ironically, using tech to manage tech use to help counter FOMO and encourage you to live more in the present moment. Volunteering, as I said, is also excellent for fostering connection and purpose beyond your screen.
And don't forget to reward yourself.
Oh, definitely. Celebrating small wins along the way can be a great motivator. Acknowledge the effort you're making. It helps maintain those healthier habits and reinforces the positive changes.
Now, while the benefits of detox seem pretty clear, there's a real challenge with sustained change, isn't there? The university student study you mentioned.
Right, the follow-up.
It found that all participating students eventually returned to social media. Every single one.
Yep, that was a key finding.
And their primary motivations for going back. 37% felt the detox purpose was achieved, like, okay, I reset, I'm good now. But 30% cited fear of missing out again, FOMO pulled them back in.
Exactly. Which really highlights the ongoing struggle to maintain those boundaries once you've re-engaged. It's not just a one-time fix.
No, it's an ongoing practice.
And this raises an important question for mental health professionals. What's their role here? The study also found that most students, 65%, would not consider professional help for social media detoxification.
65% wouldn't seek help. Wow.
And another 20% were unsure. This presents a challenge for the field. How do we address problematic social media use effectively if people aren't seeking help for it specifically? And maybe could planned abstinence, like a structured detox, become a recognized part of future treatment protocols for what might be, a developing clinical syndrome?
That's a really big question for the future. So, wrapping things up, what does this all mean for you, the listener? We've seen that social media detox is, well, it's a recognized and widely practiced phenomenon. It offers clear, short-term benefits for mental well-being.
Even benefits.
Even though the journey back to healthy, balanced use could be quite complex, it's not always easy.
So what stood out to you from this deep dive? Perhaps a sign you recognized in yourself, or maybe a strategy you're eager to try out?
It really makes you wonder, doesn't it? If these social media platforms are, let's be honest, deliberately designed to trigger our brain's reward system and create these psychological cravings, is detox truly just about individual willpower?
Good question.
Or does it challenge us, maybe on a societal level, to fundamentally rethink how these powerful digital tools are integrated into our lives? And importantly, how we educate younger generations to navigate them responsibly rather than just constantly reacting to their pervasive influence, something to think about.